E360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories TV show. Live streaming now to millions of devices around the world on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, YouTube Live, Facebook live streaming. Our shows are available video on demand on these channels. And we broadcast daily, Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on these channels. On Mondays, Expanding Your Business. Tuesdays, Natural Health and Wellness. On Wednesdays, we cover mentoring our youth. And on Thursdays, our new show, Ideas Worth Knowing. And on Fridays, Women in Leadership. To be able to watch our television show on your favorite device, please go to e360tv.com and download the app for your favorite device. Brought to you by our producers and hosts, Jim Grant and Donna Guinois. Along with our hosts, Beata Severin Reed and Emerson Brantley. Supported by our admin team of Michaela Vidal and Gaia Guinois Balconi Hueda. And welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. The Messages of Inspirational Stories is brought to you by the good guys at the 6minutewebinar.com and also by ideasworthknowing.com. And let me tell you what, both of those are winners. And we're so honored because every single Thursday, our show is, as you see there on the marquee, on Thursdays, it's Ideas Worth Knowing. And in a few moments, I'm going to share an idea that might be worth knowing out there. I've got some joy and jubilee in my heart, and I want to share that with you in a few moments. But I want Emerson to say hello to everybody out there. How you? Oh, I love that shirt.
Oh, well, you know, Mike, who can't be here today, but Mike is known for wearing his I call them Bahama Mamas. They're Hawaiian shirts. And even when he's wearing a suit, he's got flamingos and things on his suit. Mm-hmm. But now he's a publisher, and he's published, 1,000, 1,500 books, well over 800 of them bestsellers. And, he has a little flair about him, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. We call it his special personality. Personality, because he's. I get a kick out of Mike. He's comfortable with who he is, and let me tell you what. Underneath all of those flamingos and loud shirts and all that, there is a huge heart, because. Oh, yeah. Emerson, I'm going to let you share with the folks about the complimentary 10 books. Go ahead, sir. On the marquee there.
Well, yeah, that's something that, and I've known Mike for a number of years, probably at least 10 or 12 years. And he and his wife, Carolyn, who, by the way, wish them the best. They are taking probably their first just vacation in years. And Mike was laughing with me, on the phone. He says, "I'm not supposed to be talking to anybody. I'm supposed to be enjoying my vacation." I said, "Yeah, I get it. I've been there. Happy wife, happy life, right?" He goes, "Yeah, I guess." Yeah. but I said, Jim and I can take care of the show, and he's in the process. Can you believe this, folks? He is reaching out to all of these hundreds of authors that he's helped make best-selling authors. And we have a hard time getting these busybodies to respond and say, "Hey, yeah, man, I'd like to be on your show." So, I'm going to just open this up, Jim, and I didn't even talk to Jim about this. I haven't even talked to Mike about this, but you know what?
You've talked to yourself about it.
If you have a book, I talk to myself about a lot of things, but if you have a book, or if you have a book inside of you, or if you have knowledge or experience in a certain area, or you have a nonprofit challenge that you're trying to address, please let us know, and we may feature you on this show.
Yes, that's
In fact,
our.
depending on what the topic is, Jim, the producer, may actually have one or two other shows that
That's
he may want
right.
to talk to you about, like women in leadership, or businesses that make a difference, or your health and wellness, or mentoring youth. So
Yes.
please
Yeah.
reach out and let us know. Jim, you want to let's pop up the best email for them to reach you for all of us here. I'm looking it up.
Oh,
right now.
okay. That's it right there. They changed their email
Okay.
address a little bit. It's inspiration at E360TV Live, LIVE.com.
Live.
Because we were getting so
That
much
is it.
emails, they had to use another server, and so they had to use the word live so it wouldn't interfere with the original email. And so we've got, anything that you'd like to share with us. If you just want to say hello, we'll give you a shout out on TV and say hello
Oh, yeah.
back to you, and we'll be glad to do it. And let me
You
just
send us a picture. Maybe we'll have a viewer of the week. Send us a
Oh
picture.
yeah, that's a great one. That's a
Yeah.
great one. Yeah, of you and your, if you and your significant other, the important person in your life, you and your kids, you and your best friends, or you and your
You and your
dog,
furry friend.
you and your
fur children.
dog. Oh man, I'm a dog lover, and communicated with a young lady this morning, and I told her, I says, can you imagine? Because she loves her pups and all that, and so I'm a dog lover too. And I know Emerson is. And I told her, I said, can you imagine what a wonderful world this world would be if everyone had the unconditional love of the heart that the dog has? Oh, my goodness. and just think about
Jim, one of my favorite.
I was just going to say
one of my
real
favorite
quickly.
prayers has always been.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No.
I was going to say one of my favorite prayers has always been, Lord, help me become the man that my dog thinks I am.
I like that one. Yeah. And I mean, dogs
Go
are
ahead, go
so
ahead.
they're so eager to forgive you, and they just want to make you happy. And Emerson, yesterday I got some supercalifragilisticexpialidocious good news. Now, some of you young people
really?
out there may not know this, but supercalifragilisticexpialidocious is actually one word. That came
And
up
I
with
know it backwards too.
Do you?
I do. Oh yeah.
Okay, let's hear you say it then.
Docius aliexpiistic fragicalorifus. Oh yeah.
Yeah, what he said. It had been several months since I'd been to the lab to have my lab work done. And those of you that follow the show know that I had a heart attack, open heart surgery, 4 bypasses, and all that. And I couldn't take the statins.
Widowmaker, they called it.
Yeah, I had the Widowmaker. Yeah, that thing was 90% blockage, and the only way they detected that thing's when I went in for stents, and they says, stents are not going to work for you. You're going to get the deluxe package here, boy. But I started researching. I had to get off of statins, and I found a great vitamin and mineral combination. It all comes in one package. It's several different little individual pills. And I started using Dandelion. Now, before I say this, I have no lotion, potion, or pill to sell you. I don't have anything in my garage.
In fact, I'm putting up a disclaimer right now, Jim.
Yeah. And and I don't have anything to sell or anything like that. But what I'm saying is that by working with my cardiologist and all that, all of my levels are coming down. I'm looking good on the inside. And so I'm going to be meeting with my cardiologist next Monday. I got to go over there. And he, of course, that's why I went in for the lab work, so you'd have all that stuff. But if you know of someone that is interested in their heart health, or if they're concerned about their heart, all you have to do is email us, and I'll be glad to share with you the information I have. Again, I don't have anything to sell you. I don't have any products or anything like that in my garage to box up and put your name on it. I don't do that. But I will share with you what I've learned, and I will share the information under there's two conditions. Number one, you got to do the research yourself. Number two, you better consult with your cardiologist or your medical doctor before you do anything. Otherwise,
Here, I put the email back up there.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, but I know a lot of people are concerned about that, and heart disease is a serious issue. And being able to be proactive rather than reactive is my approach. But when it comes to ideas worth knowing, you brought up an interesting word yesterday about when we're going to do the show. You said something about Whytology or something like that. How do you spell that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Whytology. I in one of the classes, and then Jim, you've been through some of my classes on
Yeah.
marketing
Yeah.
and copywriting.
Mhm.
But one of the classes at the first break, one of the people there in the room waved me over, and he said, "You know, what you're talking about, that's Whytology." And I said, "It's what?" He said, "Whytology." And he began to tell me, and it made sense. And I've been introduced now around the country, it's speaking on Whytology, and any of you who've ever followed any of the the presentations and things that are online,
Mm-hmm.
there's a fellow by the name of Simon Sinek, Sinek, and he basically began promoting a few years back the idea of the most important thing in your life is knowing your why.
Mm-hmm.
Why? So when you get up in the morning, you know your why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I want what I want, why I'm making the decisions that I'm making, why am I doing these things, what's driving me. And that's a phrase I pull into it. What are the why drivers? Because in marketing, we talk about what are the drivers for people making their decision.
Amen.
Well, the more that I begin looking at marketing, the more that I realized 9 times out of 10, if you have a small business or a corporation or company, because I've worked with Fortune 50 companies all the way down to 1 and 2 man mom and pop shops, as our viewers, have seen examples of over the years. But 9 times out of 10, we start out with an idea of a what it is we're going to sell, what we are, what we have, what we do. We're a CPA. We do taxes. We do corporate papers and annual reports. We sell dresses. We have a dress shop, and we sell dresses, and we sell women's clothing. Whatever it is, we have that kind of that what that we do, and most people jump then from the who. So I work with people who are business owners. I work with people who are CEOs and people who are CFOs. They're financial officers, or whatever it is. Or maybe in the dress shop business, I work with I may not be using the exact terms because I've never worked in this space, but I work with this size or this age range or this kind of a market. And what Whytology, says is none of that matters until you know their why.
Oh, yeah.
And the blowback that I get is, okay, I've got here's who my market is. I market to these people. No. Before you even figure out who, you need to know. And Jim, I mean know that you know, because you know that you know. You need to know why they're going to choose you over anybody else. Why are they going to pick you? And I'll just say this: your why you get up in the morning, if you have a small business, or if you're an officer, or you know, a CEO or manager or owner of a business. Why? What drives you is a whole lot less important to the people you're trying to get as clients or customers.
Amen.
Jim, I don't know. Are you still seeing me? Because everything on my end just went black.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you're fine. I mean, in fact,
I
you
have no
even
idea
look
what
a little.
happened. I'm not seeing.
Well, we're just going to drive on, brother, because let me tell you that you look a little younger now than you did.
There it is. It came back up.
Ago.
I don't know what happened.
You got to put some more quarters in that machine, man, if you want this thing to run.
You know, I keep waiting for these big sponsors to come along that you're talking about and send me some rolls of quarters. But anyway, so before, I'll go back. If you own a business, if you are an entrepreneur, even if you're a single entrepreneur, if you have a small company, or you run a corporation. I hate to put it this way, folks, but nobody cares about why you get up in the morning. As far as they're concerned, the only reason you get up in the morning is to fix their problem, to solve their need. And if you can't solve their need, they don't really care. So, I mean, that's about as basic as I can put it, right, Jim?
Absolutely right.
Now, I need to know why they're going to choose you before I even figure out who they are. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, okay, let's take the dress shop. Okay, so you want to have a dress shop and you want to focus on plus sizes, say, for lack of a better term. Okay, that limits it to maybe, 100 million people in the country, right? So you need to get a little bit more refined than that. And that's why knowing their why is so important, because when you know their why, you'll figure out the who pretty quickly. And by the way, the one thing I haven't said yet is the what. And most small businesses start with what it is that you sell. Well, tell me about your business. Well, we do this, or we do that, or we make this, or we make that. If there's a good book out there by Michael Gerber, everybody, if you don't have it, you should read it. I don't get anything if you do. It's called The E-Myth. And in The E-Myth, he tells the story of a woman who just was very, very good at baking. All of her friends said, you ought to start your own bake shop. And eventually she figured, hey, why am I working a job for somebody else? I'm a good baker. I can start a bake shop. And she started it and became successful at it and was miserable, because what she did from her heart and what she enjoyed and what was her passion and what was her why, all of a sudden became a job. It became drudgery. It became something that wasn't what she wanted in her life. So figuring out your why is important. Knowing their why is even more important. And if you get those things right, now you can look at figuring out who they are and what it is you're going to be offering to them. And now you have the basis of a business. Does that make sense, Jim?
It really does. When
That's
you were talking,
the basis.
Yeah, when you were talking about E-Myth, I looked it up very quickly, what Michael Gerber, and it's entrepreneurial myth, I think.
Gerber.
Who did I say? Michael who?
Michael Gerber.
Gerber? Okay.
Michael, if you're watching this show, and you probably are,
Hey,
apologize.
that's what goof ups are good for. They make you go viral.
That's live
But
TV. It's
yeah,
live TV.
yeah. Myth. E is an echo. Myth. MYTH. I believe the E stands for entrepreneurial myth. Am I correct on
Yes,
that?
yes, it does.
That's what I was thinking when
Yes.
I said the other word. And but Emerson, one of the things that we talk a lot about the 6 minute webinar, one of our sponsors, the 6 minute
Right. Yes.
webinar, when people come to you, their why they come to you is very simple. They want to know, can you solve the reason why they're there, why they showed up? They don't like Emerson says. They don't care why you get up in the morning. They don't care if you're a vegetarian or if you like meat or if you drink coffee or don't drink coffee. They don't care about that. They just want to know if you are the go-to person that can help them in their
For them.
hour of need. Yeah, for them.
What's in it for me?
Yeah, they want to like you.
That's what they're looking
and
for.
They want to know you, like you, trust you, and be able before they even pull out a credit card. It's just amazing. It really is. And Emerson, I didn't get to go in here too much about this. I want to talk about this very, very quickly about Mike and the show that you guys do have here. The complimentary library card. These books everything is still getting set up as I understand it, and on the complimentary cards. However,
It is.
as you go and grow there, you can definitely get in touch with Mike at Ideas Worth Knowing. That's
Yes.
Mike Lewis's email. He spearheads that project, and the idea him and Emerson came up with was to be able for all these authors to be able to share their knowledge. 10 complimentary books, which means they're going to bless you, and they're going to get blessed in return somewhere down the road.
Yes.
Because life is like a big parabolic disc. If you expel something negative, it's going to bounce back to you. And if you expel something positive, it's going to bring back positive results to you. And
By
that's
the way, it says 10 books there, Jim.
uh-huh.
It says 10 books. We're asking each and every author that he's worked with, and he has altogether over 1,500 best-selling authors. He's helped over 800 of them become bestsellers. But
Yeah.
he is progressively asking these authors to have their permission to be able to have their books available for a no-cost download. So we're saying 10 right there, but any of you who go in to register or who contact Mike directly on his email that I think
I just got it up there right there. There it is.
Yeah. If we are able to get additional books released to do this, we're going to put them up. So most of these are business books. I say business. They're from people who understand the kind of stuff we're talking about and who understand the mindset you have to be a successful entrepreneur and the steps you have to take in order to get your systems in place and to manage the people that you need and to operate a business, basically. So it's a tremendous, tremendous, tremendous resource that he's made about. And Mike and I, and Jim, you know this, but Mike and I are in the process right now of creating this as an entire nonprofit to be able to offer this.
Yeah.
On and on. On and on. So, yes.
Yeah, that's really amazing.
Email Mike for sure.
And share with the folks, the why this came about. We've been talking about why, and why did you and Mike and come up with this idea and go out there, and why did you create a nonprofit? Let's share the why in that if we can.
Well, people you viewers who have been with us for a while know there's a thing I go on every year called the Marketer's Cruise, and that's actually where I met Mike and his wife Carolyn. And there are lots and lots and lots of people on that cruise. Many of them they're not even sure why they're there. They're there to try to find answers and find ways. And then in that space, there's also an awful lot of people who sell an awful lot of, some of them very good information, but through very expensive training and courses. And Jim, I don't actually know exactly how much my training for you was. I know they saw the company that brought me in to do that training sold a package of several of their programs, one of which I created. But we're talking, in many cases, tens of thousands of dollars. Well, entrepreneurs, especially small businesses, especially, are working sometimes on pretty tight margins.
Oh yeah.
And to be able to access the knowledge base that you need, that's often the difference between success and failure, between surviving and thriving.
Yeah.
When you have something like a COVID that comes in, the ones who are working on these slim margins and just keep thinking about the next sale and the next sale and the next sale and the next sale as their business plan, they end up going to work at Home Depot or Walmart, because it doesn't work.
Yeah, because
it doesn't work.
In business,
sales and business is math.
Oh yeah,
it's math.
Yeah, because in business, a lot of times you're turning dollars, and what I mean by that is that you got money coming in, and you're making sales, and you got bills coming in, and you're just turning dollars. So yes, you may be making a profit, but as far as having available cash in your hand, it's not there. It really isn't, because your money is always turning. It's like a gerbil in a habitrail, and you're just spending dollars. I remember when I had my manufacturing plant come in. One day the mail came in, and I forget how much money I think we got in like $40,000 or something like that, and the $40,000 we had come in was coming on accounts receivable, because I dealt with big companies, not individuals. And the $40,000, we had payday that day. We had a couple of invoices we paid. And at the end of the day, my bank account was about the same as it was dollar-wise as far as cash reserves. It was in the morning before the $40,000 came in. But you know what? I felt like $1 million because I was able to meet my needs, pay my bills, get the employees paid. But see, as an entrepreneur, how much money did I take out of it that day? I did not take out one single dollar from me. That's the way the world turns when you're dealing with big companies. Because some of the companies that I did with, they're big Fortune 100, 500 companies, and they may take 90 days to pay their bills. And the problem with that is, and I don't want to get too much offline here, but the problem with that is when you figure in salaries that's got to be paid, utilities got to be paid, all the things that's got to be paid, insurance, that sort of thing. When that 90 days is up and they pay, a lot of your profit has already been absorbed because of the cost.
Well, and Jim,
go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And I did work for years and years and years and years in the seminar space, and it would take us 90 to 120 days spending money marketing to fill a seminar room.
Yeah.
And as we grew, and we grew exponentially over a period of time, I was the only person in marketing doing stuff for several years there. But we began bringing in people from some big corporations to have what they call a dream team of a board of directors, so that we could go public. And I remember some of the ridiculous decisions they made because they didn't understand our business. And they saw we could go out and on a weekend and I don't want this number to blow people's minds, because actually it might be a lot bigger today, but we could go out on a 3-day weekend and come back with several $100,000 in sales.
Mm-hmm.
And they're seeing these sales come in week after week after week. They're not seeing 6 to 9 months of marketing to fill the room to make the sales happen.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
so they were making a lot of decisions that really were very, very bad decisions,
Yeah.
not understanding the business. And I'll give you another example that was, oh boy, this one was, there's a thing, and for the thing called buying remnant space. And you can usually do that in newspapers. You can do it in magazines. You can do it often on television and radio and podcast. This is where they have a certain number of minutes, and we have several minutes on this show that are reserved for ads.
Mm-hmm.
You may not have seen the ads, depending on where you watched it.
Mm-hmm.
But if that space isn't sold by the time it airs, now you can get a bargain price on it in many cases.
Mm-hmm.
Not in every case, but in many cases. So I got a phone call one day, ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, from the company that produced Hilton's. Hilton at the time had a magazine that they put into every single room in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And this magazine came out every 3 months. So I get this call, ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon on a Friday. We understand that you're on the list for remnant space. Would you be interested in having this inside first page? Wasn't the cover, wasn't the inside cover. It was when you open the cover, the very first thing you saw. Now their price, if I were to buy that, and again, take the zeros off if it helps you to process what I'm sharing with you, because
Right.
it works all the time like this. The numbers are a little different. At that particular time, that inside front page was, I think, $220,000. Miss Brantley, you can have this for $20,000. Do you have an ad that we can put in? We need to have it in our office by 8:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, Saturday morning. There's only one word. When you get calls like that, Jim, there's only one word in the English language, and it's at the very beginning of the dictionary, and it's absolutely. Right?
You bet.
Absolutely. So we already had dummy ads laid out. We just had to redesign them so they fit the space, what they call the mechanicals, so they fit the space. And I drove it to the airport. I handed it to the people at the airline, and it went in the belly of the plane, and it was delivered the next morning, and we got that deal. Well, that sounds great, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That's tremendous. Every hotel room in the world that Hilton had for 90 days. There's only one catch. In the scope of building our dream teams, we were bringing in people from, like PepsiCo and from big national, international corporations, Procter and Gamble and places. I mean, we wanted this dream team that looked great so we could take the company public.
Right, right.
So we get a new CFO in, and he looks around and he says, why does a company this size have 15 800 numbers? Now, folks, 800 numbers, toll-free numbers. To have one cost about, at that time, about $10 or $15 a month, plus however many minutes you used. So it's like a subscription, and you pay by the minutes that are used. Right. I used 800 numbers so that when I was running television time over here, or radio time over here, or doing a newspaper ad over here, or doing an email campaign over here, I would have a different 800 number, and I would know exactly what kind of response I got. By the way, that is an invaluable point of understanding for you and you're doing your marketing is being able to track exactly what you get from every source. Well, he looked at it. He said, a company this size doesn't need to have 1,800 numbers. And he looked at his business card he had just gotten that day, and he says, that's the only one we need, the main number. And he canceled them all. 30 days before this hit, every hotel room in the world. If you aren't tracking what you're doing, if you're not following up on it, if you're not looking at it and keeping up with it, ignorance is not bliss. He, by the way, did not survive in that position as long as it took for the ad to come out, as you can imagine. But these are the kinds of things in marketing that, as a small business, a corporate, I've worked with Fortune 50 companies, so it's the same. These things are true. I'm just making assumptions here that most of you who are watching this are related to companies closer to the founders and owners than maybe a Fortune 50 international corporation would be. So when you are doing the marketing, and this feeds right into, actually, here, we're 36 minutes here into it, Jim, but this feeds right into what our discussion today was really about. Okay? It's very important that your marketing understands why they're going to buy, number one. Then understands who they are, number two. And number three, whatever the product or service, and I'll say offer, that you have matches those first two items. It's not who, what, where, when, how, why. It's why, who, and then what. Because those three things make up your strategy. That's your strategy. People, you've heard me say this before. Strategy comes before tactics. Your strategy is what is their why? Who are they? What is it that they need? Now, what's the other half of that? Where, when, how we're going to reach them. Because, and the what, there's a what in there too of the message to market. But basically, the other part of it is all about how we're going to reach them, where are they at, what things are they paying attention to, what's the messaging maybe that they need to hear, what are the things that will make them go, what? Tell me more, and respond. So the where and the when and the how you're going to reach them all is down in that tactical part, not the strategic part. Strategy comes before tactics. And understanding the first strategy you have to understand is, why are they going to choose you over anybody else? And you say, well, Jim or Emerson, how am I supposed to know that if I don't even know who they are? No. If you don't know why they're going to choose you, guess what? They won't.
There you go.
Because they don't know. They don't know. Does that make sense?
It really does. And I'm looking for a quote here that I've seen before. And I'm trying to think of it. It's taught in the military academies. When you said strategy before tactics, that just really reminded me. And I'm looking for this. Here it is. It's an old military proverb. The author is unknown.
Oh, wow.
And he's talking, whoever wrote this is talking about, evaluating an enemy. It says, to combat and defeat an enemy, the first thing you must do is understand and recognize all strengths of the enemy. How can the enemy operate and remain effective? In addition, you must know the enemy, how the enemy continues to be resupplied in his resources, and what and where is your enemy's weakness. Then and only then can you devise a plan of action to defeat your enemy. And when Emerson was talking about strategy, that is a strategic position that author was talking about. He's not going to jump in there and say, "Okay, guys, let's take them on," you know. And that's true with everything in life.
Yeah, we have the high ground. We can do this.
Yeah, you got to have a good game plan in anything, and you got to start with a strategic point of view. You got to know what your end goal is. But my point being is that you've got to strategize, and as Emerson was saying, you got to know why. The Whytology there. That's a great that's kind of like a science, ain't it? Whytology, yeah.
And the thing is, most of the time when I'm talking with businesses, most of the time when I talk to them about what they do or whatever, they start out by telling me what they make or what the service is that they have. Okay, that's great. It's important. But I can probably find 100 other people who do whatever it is they say they do. And then they'll tell me why they're better. Well, that's great. If what they're telling me matters, if they have 5 buttons instead of 3 buttons, 5 speeds instead of 3 speeds, if they have 32 foot-pounds of torque instead of 26 foot-pounds of torque, if they've got warehouses in 27 states instead of 15 states, none of those things matter. What's in it for me? What does it mean to your potential client, your prospect, your customer? And it really doesn't matter. I don't need to know, and I'll pull a name out of the air here. I don't need to know where Amazon's warehouse is.
There you go.
I don't need that. If they say they're going to have it to me by tomorrow, that's all I need to know.
Yeah.
If they do that, now they validated what they said they would do. Now there's trust. There's not necessarily trust in the beginning. There's hope. But there's not necessarily trust. But now they've done what they said they would do, and now there's trust. If they do that repeatedly, now there's loyalty. Yeah, loyalty doesn't come from doing it one time. Trust comes from that. But now I'm pretty sure every time I do it, I'm going to get it tomorrow. Over and over and over. So now when they don't get it to me, what's my reaction?
You're upset.
It's, hey, you know what? Sometimes that happens. Hey, this is tough, but hey, I get it. I'm forgiving. I'm not, well, you should have fixed that. You should have thought of that in the first place. It's like, those are the toxic kinds of clients and customers that nothing you do can work. No matter how much you bend over backwards, no matter how much they abuse you and your staff, no matter. It's never good enough. And you know what? Now, this is where Whytology, or this is actually this was the best-selling book, which I can't believe it's 43 minutes into it before I even hold it up, Jim. This book sold, walked through every step of this, and I told Mike Lewis, I want this book to be available for people to download off of that website. Off of ideasworthknowing.com.
Yeah, let me put that up there. This book talks
about every aspect of what we're talking about here. And that is, your strategy comes before your tactics. You want to focus on fewer. This is going to be a difficult one for some of you to chew. You want to focus on fewer leads, fewer phone calls, fewer people responding. And you want to focus on them being leaner, where you're getting more of the ones who want you, who will trust you, who will try you. who what
Right.
you're doing is like you've been reading their email or reading their diary, who have been looking for you and didn't even know they were looking for you, who when you screw up, and you will screw up,
Mm-hmm.
their response will be, I knew you'd take care of it for me. Not, well, you should have thought of that first. Well, you should have fixed it. You should have fixed that. You should have taken care. It's like those are the, and those people, and Jim, you know this from being in business, you get from people who are negative,
Ooh.
what's the normal figure? 8 to 10 times more
Mm-hmm.
of them will tell the story than the people who are happy with you,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's not get those people. Let's get the
Yeah.
people who want you, who love you, who listen to you, do what you tell them to do, who trust you, who refer you, who forgive you when you screw up over and
Yeah.
over. They are the ones that we want. And the way that we do that, and you're waving your hand, so I'll pause for a minute. I'll take a breath while you want to go ahead.
Yeah, I just going to say that reminds me of the story that you shared one time where you knew you had a customer that would be they would eat up too much of your time, and it would be really hard for you to be able to satisfy them. But you had the courage to say, "Well, I'm going to let you tell the story," because you said you could refer them to someone else. Would you share that, please?
Oh, I've had that happen many times.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, they have sent me contracts with checks on top, and I've sent them back and said, "This is about me. It's not about you. I know you'll understand." But the thing is, there's a great old video or movie called Miracle on 34th Street. Write that down, folks.
Oh, yeah.
And Santa Claus, the real Santa Claus, is working at I think it's Macy's,
Mm-hmm.
and the Christmas parade is in it and everything else. So this lady comes up to him and says, "I want this for my son." He goes, "Oh, we don't have that, but so and so has it over here. Here's their address, and by the way, they have a good deal going on it right now. You ought to go get it."
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "I don't get this. Macy's sending people to Gimbals or wherever. Is this some new kind of a? Well, I don't get this. I'll do all of my business here from now on."
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, when we have those clients who are, shall I say, the difficult one, if we get them in and your marketing, I got to get around to this, Jim, because your marketing is the thing that helps to keep you
Sure.
from having to deal with them in the first place,
Go.
But if you get them, gift them. If you get them, gift them.
Mm-hmm.
Gift them to your competition.
Yeah.
Gift them, and you know what? You'll confuse the heck out of your competition. And they're going to, 9 times, and this has happened so many times, James, 9 times out of 10, there's somebody for everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, they're going to love each other.
Yeah.
This problem customer is going to end up calling you, going, "I don't know how you sent me to him. They're so wonderful. They've done everything that I wanted." And your competition will run into them at a networking meeting or something. Go, "I have no idea why you sent her over to me, man. She's been the best customer in the world. We've done 4 different jobs with her, and man, you send all you want over to me." And you're sitting there going, "Okay, I'll be sending you some more."
Yeah.
Because you're not right for everybody.
Yeah.
And
That 80,
everybody isn't right for you.
that 80-20 rule comes into effect there, doesn't it? Where
Oh, yeah.
you spend 20%, you spend 80% of your time trying to, take care of of a person that wants to consume. 20% of your customers want to consume 80% of your time. It's out of balance, and that's what
And vice
Emerson's
versa.
talking about. That, yes,
Yeah.
and vice versa.
Yeah. Basically, if you take any business, and this goes way back into the 40s, this was figured out. It was figured out, and I'll just say it was figured out over in Italy during Mussolini's time. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there was an economist who figured this formula out. don't take that in a negative way, because it's been proven over and over and over and over and over again. The 80-20 rule, or the Pareto principle is that we spend 80% of our time on the things that get us 20% of the results.
Yeah.
Whatever those results are. And we spend 20% of our time on the things that are bringing us 80% of results. So if you can flip that curve around and not be dealing with those people, now you're spending 80% of your time on the ones that are giving you 80% of the results. And you know what happens? The results go up. That's what happens. The results go up. And now there'll be a lot of people, Jim, who will say, well, you need to just fire the bad ones. I say, don't get them in the first place.
Yeah.
Your marketing, and this is where sold, and I hope any of you who want to get this book, I'm going to make sure Mike has it available on the site.
Yeah.
Okay. And Jim's going to put the site back up. But that's where this process comes into play. Because this process says, you know what? Get your marketing and your sales in alignment. And Jim, I don't care if somebody's a solopreneur. A lot of times they're doing their marketing. Now they're over on to doing their sales calls, and there's no connection. When your marketing is singling out and your message to market is reaching the people that you want the most, knowing who you don't want, it's repelling those people that you don't want, because it's that precise. Now the people who come in, instead of tell me what you got, are saying, how do we do business? How can you help me? What do I need to do? And you have people who are wanting you, loving you, listening to you, following your direction, forgive you when you screw up. And again, we all screw up.
Oh, yeah.
Who are buying again and again and sending you endless referrals. People that when you pick up the phone, it's not, oh gosh, it's her again. It's, oh man, I can't believe it's you again. That's just great. That's who you want. And get this book. It's free. There's no cost for it. There's no cost for it. And use it.
Yeah.
Use it. Give away the bad ones to your competition. Let them have them. Work with the people who feed you, who love you, who you love them, and who it's a pleasure. And make your business. And this doesn't matter if you're a Fortune 50 company. It's the same. Trust me on this. It works exactly the same way. Exactly the same way.
The principles are the same.
Your productivity is affected by it. Everything is affected by it.
Yeah, because the principles. The principles are the same.
The principles are the same. Yeah, the principles are the same. There are 8 billion people in the world now. 8 billion people. There's plenty of the right ones for you.
Absolutely.
Because you can't sell 8 billion people. Coca-Cola can't.
Walmart can't.
Pepsi can't. No.
Wally
Kentucky
World.
Fried Chicken can't. McDonald's can't. Walmart can't. Nobody in the world can serve the world. So pick out the people you want out of that.
Yeah.
And focus the message so clear on those people that the ones who don't fit that mold say, man, that guy Jim blows, man. He just, who needs him? I don't need him. I have plenty of other options. I don't need to listen to this. Yeah. Have a good life.
Yeah. Let them self-filter themselves out.
They'll self-filter. They'll self-eliminate themselves.
Yeah.
And folks, this is so powerful for you. If you
really
have a small business working from home, or if you're running a corporation with thousands of people, tens of thousands of people, because some of the corporations I've worked with have been in that size range, and I've worked with mom and pop, home businesses and hardware stores, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But get on there and get a copy. It's no cost for it. It's not a sales pitch. It has, the information is solid. Jim, you've been through some of my training. I mean, it's solid training.
I'll tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, be able to get that book alone. Emerson touched on lightly before about, the amount of money that would be spent for the 3 courses. I took 3 courses down there, the first package. And I don't mind saying this on the air because it was true. They were very good courses, very intense training, but $17,500. And one of the courses was Emerson's course. And all that knowledge is being available to you right now, and a complimentary book sold. Now, if
And
that's
it's
not
to sell you a $17,000 course.
no, complimentary means it's a gift giving up. You're giving a hand up to people. That's what makes you successful. That's what makes you rich. That's what makes life worth living. It really
That
does.
leaves a legacy too.
Oh, yeah, it sure does.
Yeah.
And Emerson, our time is just about gone. We got about 15 seconds left.
Sure
and,
is.
ladies and gentlemen,
Wrap it up, Jim.
hold up that book as we sign off again so people can look at it and be able to get it. If you cannot find that book, be sure and just email Mike at, let me find it here real quick as I put it up here. I'm going to close it down. There it is. Nope, that's not
There
it.
it is.
Oh, you got it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll find it.
Okay. Anyway,
There it
I'm
is.
trying to do too
Okay.
many things at one time here. There it is. Email
chewing
Mike
the walking
Lewis
gum.
at Mike at
Walking
ideasworthknowing.com. Yeah,
Something like
that's
that.
close enough. Yeah, I'll forgive you if you goof up. But we're so thankful that you tuned in today, and be sure and share this show with others because a lot of the value you see right
Yes.
there in front of you, oh my goodness gracious, that's going to be, think of the amount of money that would save someone who is struggling, trying to get going in their business, trying to find out the combination they're searching for. It's in that book.
Right.
I give you my word on it. And please share that with others. And on behalf of Emerson and myself, thank you so very much for tuning in today. On behalf of Emerson and me, we sincerely hope that you and your loved ones are healthy, happy, and blessed in all areas of your life. Be sure and love yourself first, then you can love others. And be sure and let them know about Emerson's book there. And visit Emerson at web3direct.com. and get to know more about him. You're going to love him, you're going to like him, and you just won't be able to live without him. You got to have his book. We'll see you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye.